Okay, so dear Dharma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body. Keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line, and your right palm on your left. So gently close your eyes and bring attention to this bell sound. And while you're focusing to the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind, and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the blessed one, the exalted one, the fully enlightened one. So dear Dhamma practitioners, before we start our practice session, as usual, we'll take few minutes to understand ourselves, how this practice can help for us to develop our inner awareness, and at the same time, how it can help us to have a kind of clear foundation for our own spiritual practice. So when it comes to learning part, we have to learn these techniques, and at the same time, it is very important to learn the Buddha's character. As a Buddha, the lifestyle and who he was. So that is very important. When it comes to Buddhism, sometimes we forget the Buddha himself and try to study it as a subject. Try to study his teachings as philosophy. But it was a kind of like more than the philosophy, it was a mental science and develop and apply to day-to-day life for ordinary people. And it was very grounded, practical method for each and every living being. So it is just not a kind of like only philosophy mind, and it is just not only a theory that you have to learn. It is more a lifestyle that you have to develop. And when it comes to that, during that time, there was the major important, the argument they had, the fixed, unchangeable, this concrete soul or the Atma, that concept. There is somebody unchangeable in us. Still sometimes that ourselves we come to a point to believe, oh, I used to be in the past life like this, oh, I am like this and I'm going to be like that. So like that, there is a deeper something always talk to our mind. And there is an inner conversation that we have ourselves, which we don't want to challenge, or which we maybe don't want to look into it, which we don't want to bring an argument regarding how realistic it is, but still we like that argument inside us. We all kind of like develop this concrete self or the soul or the Atman or the unchangeable awareness. On the top of that, we try to build up this everything. But when it comes to the Buddha, and his teaching mainly bring the argument regarding that there is nothing can exist in this human body, even in this entire universe, there is nothing unchangeable. And even when it comes to the emptiness, it doesn't mean that everything empty. The emptiness itself means this everything change. There is nothing that permanently holds something. When it comes to that, the change position, that you can't hold a certain kind of structure permanently. Even though you experience things, there is no permanent structure that you can cling or you can harbor. So then what will happen? In the moment of experience, you and the perception, in the moment of experience, even though you have that experience, you can't hold it as permanent. So then deeper inside that, the self, of course there is a self. That self means that you personally what you experience with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, consciousness, and deeper out of that, the whole this consciousness arises in you. And you have a past that which you can't neglect. And that's why we are here today like this. And at the same time, we know we're going to have a future. That's why we keep practice like this. We don't deny that. We don't going to argue with that. There's nothing. No, we accept there is something. But you have to come to the point to understand you have something, you experience something, but it's change. Even there are gods. Even there are deities. But still we have to come to the point to understand it doesn't matter whoever, wherever they are everybody changing. So then sometimes you come to a point to understand, oh, how we can come to that kind of understanding. So that's why you have to look into yourself first. If you are the result of something unchangeable, there should be some kind of something in you unchangeable. If the God create you, if the nature create you, if the cause and effect bring this whole result, when you look into that, you recognize. But without looking into it, you can't get into that kind of argument. So then we know this. There is an energy that, and there is an infinite energy. It's just not only this body and this environment, this when it comes to this entire universe. This is an entire huge energy field. It's infinite. But the thing is this, when it comes to your human life, it doesn't matter how big the energy, how strong the energy, how vast the energy itself can't take a decision, or itself, it doesn't have a conscious decision regarding your life. So you have the energy, but still that energy itself doesn't have a consciousness. So the consciousness arises in the human body, not even in the outside. There are many other conversations, there are outside that the consciousness, but somehow there's no unchangeable consciousness. So when you look into that, you recognize there is an energy field, but still it's change. And at the same time, you have, when you become more conscious and when you recognize that change and how this change happened according to the cause and effect, there is nothing else. According to the necessary cause and conditions, things arise. So once you recognize this, you become more aware regarding your internal behavior. Because that is where the effort arises. So when it comes to effort, that's in your life, maybe you had the effort to do things. And there's the physically, mentally, verbally, when we perform actions, of course, you need the effort. But are you capable to maintain it as a right effort? So now you know there's an energy field and you have to bring it, you have to use it to bring good result. So to bring it to good result, you have to bring some kind of mental power to that energy. Why? Because the energy itself doesn't have awareness or the consciousness. It's a kind of like a currency. So now you have to bring the awareness. And once you have the awareness, you have to have the effort. So how you can transform your energy through your mind to something profitable? That's what called the kusala. So the kusala means you have the power to transform the energy to gain something profitable. It's another way we can call like a good actions. So if you don't have that, what will happen? Out of that energy, you can transform your own bodily, verbally, mentally actions and bring unprofitable result. So if you have the unprofitable result, what will happen? Again, you're going to have a difficult time, hard time. Because you are responsible for your actions. So then, if you are capable to understand this method and use it properly, and that is what called the right effort. So the right effort means that you yourself, oneself, develop wholesome qualities in their own behavior regarding the verbal, mental, physical actions. And at the same time, while you're developing that good qualities, and sometimes that's not enough. And you have to use the effort. Now, another way, you increase the good qualities, and then still there is a current keep coming within us, which we call the habits, the behavior, memory, mental formations, sanskar, or the cankers, or the blueprint, or the DNA. Oh, so that current may be not completely purified. Why? Because we come from the long journey. In this samsaric journey, we went through many, many lives, and maybe we used to be animals. And in that animal world, you know, different kind of animals, and maybe we used to be different kind of human beings. And according to the environment or the country or the nature, the culture, the tradition, look at their behavior, the way the people think. It's totally different. And today maybe we think, oh, this is right, or this is wrong. But maybe if we born in another country, and if we had that kind of mental view, what will happen? So maybe we used to be in that kind of life, and in our blueprint, still we can have that kind of memory. And sometimes that's why sometimes when people, you know, when people kill other people, some people enjoy it, like it. From where that current comes? It's just not, you know, happen suddenly. Maybe they had a kind of like a previous lives, you know, like they used to do that kind of things. And then when they see it, they become happy, you know. And sometimes when people kill you know, and sometimes people put comment, well done, you know, how that kind of mentality arise. So because that there are a lot of unpurified the memory, like chemicals, so the inside us, like it's in our blood, because it related to the consciousness. So we have to purify it. So it is just not enough sometimes to put the effort towards to increase the good qualities. What are those good qualities? Loving kindness, generosity, compassion, and wisdom. So that kind of things. You bring that kind of good qualities out of your bodily, verbally, mentally actions. So that is you have to have the effort. You use the energy to transform it, to build up some good profitable skills. So then that's not enough. So then you have to have some effort in you every day with your bodily, verbally, mentally action to reduce the greed, hatred, and the delusion. The greed, we can, sometimes we can reduce the greed. And hatred also we can reduce. But the most difficult part is ignorance. Sometimes we don't see it. Why? Because the society, then other people, even ourselves, through our schooling, traditions, culture, believing, it's validate our ignorance. So then how we can get out of it? That's a great challenge for us. But the thing is, when the ignorance is there, it doesn't matter how hard you work for your greed, how hard you work for your anger or jealousy, but still that ignorance has power to ignite those kind of qualities in you. So then you have to have the effort, use the energy to reduce that all the unprofitable skills. So then the effort you have to use both two ways. One is, by the time you have to increase the power of the loving kindness, generosity, and the compassion and the wisdom, and at the same time, not later, at the same time, you have to use the energy to reduce the power of jealousy, anger, hatred, ignorance, so that kind of things. So when you are capable to work within yourself, and that itself become a profitable skill to yourself to go with this journey inside. And not only that, there is something else happens. With the greed, hatred, and the delusion, or with the unprofitable skills, what happened? It has power to freeze your mental view. It has power to calcify your awareness, and you stuck with things. You can't get out of it. So that is the very danger with the greed, hatred, and the delusion. And as I mentioned that in the beginning, that our own mind talk to us. That is where all the mental views come. So when you into loving kindness, generosity, compassion, wisdom, what happened? The person who talk inside you to yourself, that the voice that you mostly trust, start to lose the power. And then you have the ability, you gain that some kind of wisdom to listen to different kind of voice. So that is what we need in a certain level. So yourself, we say, oh, I want to change. Oh, I want to change. So from where that change? Remember, start to develop a different way of voice in you. You can do it. I will give you an example. It's Eckhart Tolle, this the well-known author, spiritual teacher, and he was planning to suicide. He was, he hated himself. And then what happened? One day he heard a voice himself from his own mind, from another side, and told him, wow, why you think like this way? Why you can't think like that? So then it started to give a different voice. And from that day, he gave up that idea of taking his own life and start to develop and listen to that voice. See that how the change happened. And the same thing that our late Venerable, who passed away recently, that Venerable Kondang. And he was telling me that his story, before he became a monk, he was planning to suicide himself as a young boy. 3 months, he was, go place to place to suicide himself. Because his mind, nothing else, his mind tell, oh, do this, do this, do this, do this. And then he was ready to do that, and suddenly he started to hurt something. Hey, why you do this? There is a better way to deal with this. Why you don't try that? And then he changed, see? So then in conventionally, remember, it is very important to look into ourselves and see this, the voice that we're listening to us, because it's mostly freeze, calcified, concrete, kind of like it's come kind of like a permanent voice. It's there, that is it. This is what you have to do. There is no any other way. It's kind of like that. And if you start to go with it, and sometimes even, and we think for very conventionally, sometimes we think this positive thinking, good things, and regarding success, so kind of like that. But end of the journey, sometimes we lose our mind. That is what happening to most of us. As monks, sometimes we lose our mind. As practitioners, why when we practice meditation, when we do yoga, when we do puja, when we do prayers, and it's a lot of things. It's just not only love or drugs or, alcohol or, that kind of things lose the mind. This way also we lose our mind. That's what we have to understand. We have to bring it to, openly to the table, and you have to talk, and you have to know yourself. Otherwise, you sometimes misunderstand things. So don't allow it to happen. So that's why we bring this kind of discussions, and that's why we bring this kind of example every day, and give you some tools to yourself to work. So then what you need to do, start to retell yourself, retell yourself, and find your path, make it very clear with you. So whatever the voice come, remember to retell with all the profitable things yourself. And then you will see it will slowly start to change. So that is the method through this practice, and it make space for you to develop that. And when it develop little by little, by the time you have power to get out of this all the inner voice. So if it is negative, you have to bring it to certain kind of profitable way. And then by the time samadhi means anymore, you're not going to listen to that. You are capable to depend on the perception rather than voice, inner voice, or the mental views. When you are not capable to recognize the perception, what happened? You depend on your thoughts. That's where the judgments come. The judgment means in a very conventional way of comparison. That's where it's come. Why? Because we have no clarity, we have no power, we have no strength, we have no knowledge or the wisdom to go with the moment of the perception. Another way it's called the direct perception, clear comprehension. When we don't have it, we depend on the memory. And when you depend on memory, you always have the comparison. When you have the comparison, it always going to become a debate. It always going to become a fight. It always going to become a challenge or resistance. And then that is where always this anxiety, depression, the fear, jealousy, hatred, this everything arise. So, but still there is a way that you can find a way to get out of this. Only things you have to understand that is the nature of the mind, and then there is another way. So how you can do that? So then in the beginning you develop your tranquility state. So how you develop tranquility state? So remember now, when you develop the tranquility state, getting help from your mental view or getting help from your mind doesn't work. Why? As I mentioned, that your mind or your thoughts or the mental formations, your history, that current, that energy come from that unskillful environment maybe. So then using that, you can find the tranquility state. Just imagine in your previous life, if you are kind of like a tiger, lion, or cow, or bull, crocodile. So then using that current or the energy, how you can develop the tranquility state. So that's why you have to come to the point, depend only from the present moment. So that is the trust, the confidence. That is where you need the faith, conviction. You trust the moment, not your memory. Even not what you know, forget about it. You trust the moment that you have. You sit with the moment. You focus to the primary mental object without depend from any past things. That's why even don't depend on the teachings. Don't go with that. You learn it, you listen it, you understand this mental mechanism. But once you come to practice, you have to bring your maximum strength and the effort. Each and every cell in your body, you have to unify and bring it to one place. If you can do that, in the very moment, you feel the bliss. And you feel the bliss, and the very moment you experience the newness. When you experience the newness, what happens? Rather than the current or the field that you clinging with your past or the previous improfitable skills, once you have the newness, you develop a certain kind of different vibration and the current, and it will help you to change the frequency in you. So once you have that different frequency, the higher frequency, because it come as come from the moment, and it come with the newness, and it always going to become more powerful than your history. So then what will happen in the moment, once you have that, it will uplift you from the frequency that the lower frequency. And that upliftment itself break down, release that, the freeze mental view. the calcified mental views start to mobilize. That is what you need. So that mobility. So when you see something, you become more flexible. When you do something, you become more flexible. When you think something, you're not going to stuck with the certain kind of preconditioned mental view. You become flexible. So that flexibility come with the awareness, and that flexibility is bring the ability to do things according to the necessary course and conditions in that environment. Another way, act appropriately. Do the things according to, so whatever right, do the right things. If it is wrong, don't do it. So like that, you are capable to act accordingly. So once you have that, you experience the total freedom. You're not bound to, you're not limited to anything. That's the total emptiness that you experience. You have it, but you are empty. So that is a different way of understanding emptiness. That's a different way of experiencing nothingness. You experience, but you're not bound to any concrete experience or mental view, but still you experience it. That's why you become like a river. You have the flow, but shapeless. You have the current, but shapeless. You have the energy, but it's formless. And that is where you experience with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. You experience things, you perceive, but the perceiver is not going to come with the self-identity. Experiencer not going to come with the self-identity. So how beautiful it is. And to go into that, what you need very radical, analytical way of mindset inside. Why? Because when you observe, remember, our memory more strong than we think sometimes. So your memory can overtake, your habits can overtake, your mental formations can overtake the moment. So that's why when you have, but it doesn't matter how strong it is, how powerful it is, you have more powerful tool yourself. So that is your awareness. So once you tune to the awareness, hold it to the awareness, and you will see there's no chance for the memory. There is no chance for the sanskara or the mental formations. There is no chance for the DNA. It doesn't matter how powerful it is. It doesn't matter how powerful your blueprint as a history that you carry in you, muscle memory, blood memory, or you name whatever, but your awareness is so strong. Now you tune to different path and you develop that and hold it to that moment, then you will see. You build up the newness moment by moment, moment by moment, and expand the duration, and by the time, you can end up with the bliss. So with that, let's get into the practice a little bit now. So your right palm on your left and neck, head straight in one line, and be comfortable with your posture. And bring attention to your body and scan head to toes yourself and say Supapat Veva, or may I be well and happy 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge in this moment with this sitting. May my body become more comfortable. May my breath be more smooth. May no difficulties come to me. May all the success come to me. Also think for a moment. This is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime. And detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalations and exhalations. So in the beginning, deeply and gently, breathe out 3 times and find the sensation, please. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. And when it happens, recognize inhalation as inhalations, exhalations as exhalations. Do nothing extra. Bring your attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also, as far as you can, through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward. Visualize yourself and send it as a light. To your backside. To your left side. Into your right side. Downward. And upward. To all 6 directions at once. Like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it with the maximum effort to the highest. Wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. And also by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata chamyehi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya buddham pujemi dhammam pujemi sangham pujemi Attaya imaya patipattiya jati jara vyadhi maranam ha paribunjissami Idamme punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamunchatu. Bless you.